I'm Keawe'aimoku Kaholokula. So both my parents are Hawaiian. My mom's from the big island of Hawaii. My dad's family is from Maui. And was always raised knowing we're Hawaiian. My dad always wore a hat, proud to be Hawaiian, t-shirts, proud to be Hawaiian. But like most people of their generation, they never learned their language because my grandparents' generation was physically abused if they spoke Hawaiian in school and so forth. So their parents said, in order to succeed in this society, to speak English only. And so they didn't teach parents. So many of us had to go back to learn Hawaiian to the university or to school. And that's how I ended up actually going to colleges. I had no interest in college, but I had an interest in Hawaiian language and culture. Well, currently I'm the associate professor and chair of the Department of Native Hawaiian Health. It's in the School of Medicine at the University of Hawaii. And our department is a clinical department, much like pediatrics, OBGYN, psychiatry is. And we're the only, I believe, the only clinical department in a U.S. medical school that's dedicated to indigenous health. I graduated from high school with a grade point average of 1.8. Never had the intention of going to college. In fact, like most Hawaiian men, I never thought that I could succeed in college. So I actually went to work in the workforce. So I graduated high school in '87. I immediately entered the workforce, truck driver, delivering furniture, appliances. I even did some repossessions for a while. Worked for 5 years with no intention of ever going to college. There were all these increases in community-based education, and there was offerings of free Hawaiian language classes at night. So I was one of those people that after work I would take those classes, and I enjoyed it. And then one of the teachers, Carol Silva, had said, if you're serious about the language, you need to go to the university and learn it formally. So that stuck in the back of my head. And then eventually I got my PhD. But it's Hawaiian culture that really led me to go to college. And then what kept me in college, because it was tough. I mean, especially in graduate school, it's a different level. And talk about performance competition, where everybody's an individual competing against each other. And even, like we were talking about, sometimes people see you as a token Hawaiian. Or, I remember a professor telling me that, you're probably not going to get into our program because the local students have a hard time. And he said, yeah. And so, you might want to consider applying elsewhere as well, just in case. I said, okay. Or wanting to connect to my cultural values, I saw it as a challenge. He was challenging my mo'oku'aha, my whakapapa, my genealogy. He was challenging me. And the Hawaiian thing to do, there's only two things, right? You either walk away, you don't take the challenge, or you take it. And I saw it as a challenge, so I took the challenge. And I told him, in that meeting, I looked at him and I said, well, I'm going to apply. And when I leave your program, I'll not only finish and leave, but I'll leave with the best marks and the best performance than anyone that ever came through your program. But that's because the Hawaiian cultural values. It was someone challenged you. What you going to do? I think a lot of our young people, they've lost that. And I think by reintroducing other aspects of our culture that highlights our strengths, our assets, the positive side of who we are, then I think our people succeed better because they feel more comfortable. But fortunately, there was another Hawaiian gentleman, Kamana Opono Crab, that was ahead of me. And he actually served as a mentor and helped me out as well. So, and he's very culturally grounded and well respected. And that was helpful because he introduced me to a lot of things on the cultural side, the Hawaiian side, that allowed me to be grounded. And that's another thing too, is how do you keep our people grounded in their culture? Because I think it was Ranganui Walker, from over here, that said that education is cultural replication. So what culture do you replicate through the education system? So I think the challenge for us is how to keep our Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander students grounded in their culture and their way of life, and bring value to their field. by introducing cultural perspectives, new ideas into those disciplines that they're studying, is how do you make medicine relevant for people that live in a real world? You know, we give them medication, but if they don't take it, it's not going to work. And they don't take it for good reasons sometimes, and a lot of the medicine is behavior change. Watching what you eat, getting more exercise, quit smoking, lose weight, so forth and so forth. But people live in a stressful environment, or people are financially challenged. In Hawaii, many people work 2 jobs. One person works 2 jobs. It's hard to tell them to eat healthy when they only get half an hour to get from job A to job B. And McDonald's drive-through is easy. So, you know, how do you make medicine relevant for people from a particular cultural group, a particular worldview? Culture was the reason I went to college. The culture is what kept me going through the difficult times, because every time it was difficult, I would take it as a challenge. I would take it. If I failed, I take away from my mo'oku aho, my genealogy. How do I add to my genealogy? You have inherited mana, you have acquired mana. Acquired mana is what you get from your parents. It's what you get. It's your social status, so to say. It's what you bring with you from all those generations that you just get from birth. But acquired mana is what you add to the inherited mana. The inherited mana is what you get from birth. The acquired mana is building on that. And in our lifetime, we can take away and become not too good people and don't do anything, or we can add to it and build a more solid foundation for the future. And so that's the kind of traditional thinking that I use every time it was difficult. My thing was, hey, this is it's my mana. I need to finish this, and I can. And then other values of being assertive, looking to our using traditional perspectives to address when you're having challenges, working out problems, or even managing your time. I mean, how do you look towards traditional values and practices to help you inform on how to be balanced and how to address certain things in your life that keeps you going? I think culture is important because the people you serve come from a particular culture group. They have a particular worldview, understanding of about their health and well-being. But also, remember that what you provide is contextual. That there's a context in which your medicine, your recommendations, your service, your knowledge operates, and you have to understand and make it relevant for that context. And if it's not relevant, no matter how good your medicine or your knowledge is, if it cannot relate to people's real life experiences in their world, it doesn't go any farther than that. It needs to translate to something people can apply and make sense of. And that's the challenge as we as professionals, academics, we have to now make what we do real for people, for the people that we actually serve. So that's the challenge I would put out to your students.